Yeah, I think for Twisted Minds, I don't think we can really say they've had a fantastic day over the 2 last days, right? But that's impressive in its own right. They're the fact that they're still at this top side and we've not really come off any game being like Twisted Minds really dominated that lobby. They're so consistent.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate reality for 15 other teams in these lobbies every time in EMEA in the finals is that regardless of what happens to Twisted Minds is inevitable. They will always be there, and they will always be challenging for that #1 spot. So yeah, we just don't. You're right. We just don't talk about it much anymore because we think it's a given. And likewise, chat will always think it as well. So, but anyway, let's take a look. Our first game of the final day to figure out who is going to be able to become our champions for the first weekend. Of course, we do have another finals coming up. Not next weekend. That will be the playoffs, but the weekend after that. The second final here to determine who's going to be able to win overall here for PEC. As where is our circle going to go? As Twisted Minds will be hoping for a cheeky home circle for all of this. A lot of mixed droppage going on down nearby Navi, and we do go east. Mixed droppage,
yeah,
you know?
I like that.
Yeah.
I think most teams not really wanted to put too much emphasis onto Sosnovka with this playing path. It's kind of impossible for it to go down there. So we head over towards that east side. Most teams just littered themselves across the center island. I think right now TMO actually has a fairly nice start with Justice heading down towards that southeast side, getting a little bit of a scout on. I do wonder how quickly they're going to move out of Yasnaya here. For TMO, it's a bit more like a salvage run today. I don't think they want to end up at the bottom of the tables. This is a good way to get yourself for that rut. And with how tight it is at the middle of the pack at the moment, I don't think it's impossible for the Mythov to redeem themselves today. Just going off the past couple of days, it does seem unlikely.
Yeah, I'll say that as we take a look at them here, if there is some salvage to be had for the Mythov, I think that you could realistically, if you had a good day as the Mythov, maybe you get yourself up into the middle pack, right? Yeah. And then from there, you're getting yourself towards more PGC points in theory. Right now, 16th place will be 5 PGC points, so not great at all. The middle pack gets you towards like 25, 30 points or something like that. And that's if things go spectacular today. I will see, because it's kind of moving goalposts, right, for a team like them. That said, though, I think there's a lot of learnings that they can take away from this lobby and how things have gone down. And, you know, there is another playoffs. There is another finals for them to play. So it's not all doom and gloom just yet. And we still have the 5 games today.
I think even just getting into the finals is a pretty big deal. Like you say,
for sure.
Huge amount of experience to be had playing in this type of lobby. Especially in EMEA, where I think we can quite comfortably say this is a really, really high level lobby. I think when you're coming away from this, there's a lot of notes to be placed down on paper. I think you probably have to get a larger notebook at this point with the amount of things you'll be scribbling down. But it is great to see, I think, a lot of teams grabbing a ton of information off the back of this.
Well, I mean, I'll allude. In fact, no, I'll just straight, kind of talk about our conversations in the back, right? This is your first ever PEC final or EMEA Championship final, right? Mm-hmm. And we're talking in the back, and you're basically saying to me, what a joy it is to watch these players play because they're all so good, and you get to watch some insane skill coming out from these guys. So yeah, we're spoiled in EMEA for sure. Mm-hmm. It's such good games.
No, honestly, it has been so much fun being able to do PEC. I think so far I've been very surprised, but in a really good way. Like being able to watch these players, it's so much fun. Like watching players at the top of their game, and even going through the PEC Cups, like with Mark, like that was also really fun. There was some really good plays over there, and I just didn't know how much the bar could be raised, but it has been, and I think, like you say, I've been absolutely spoiled having this as the second tournament I'll be doing for PUBG PC.
Not bad at all. Well, let's see how all these teams are going to fold in on this circle, as Nemesis is going to have plenty of room in the north side of this, because for the most part, the only teams that really kind of strayed to the north side of a circle like this was the Mythov, having Yasnaya, but they've of course moved down towards what looks like heaven. I can barely see on my little map there for a second. But Lou, and Boars found themselves in the field south of Yasnaya, so we need a little bit of a scrap here going on. Our knock already happening against Marshall. as Twisted Minds are looking to do a bit more damage against them. The smokes do actually make a recovery for him. I think he's going to get out. It's very close, though. One bullet hit there for 40. So, time is ticking. But first knock means that they should be able to get him up okay.
They know he's still down, though, right? So it's a real question whether Twisted Minds wants to play off the back of this. But with balls sending over towards the northwest side, this is so dangerous. Might catch him through the window. But yeah, for Twisted Minds, this makes a lot of sense to me. You know, getting aggressive early on, they know they need more kill points. So if they find a team out in the open, they're going to try and take as much as they can from them. So I think we're going to see a slightly more aggressive Twisted Minds today if they want to take that first place off of Virtus Pro, which is going to be a bit of a task. Nice nade from Hakatori. Way out from nowhere. Boostic is down up on the top side of the bunker. Spiro over towards the entrance, but there is a Molotov, keeps them at bay for the time being. It's the best he can do in this situation.
Yeah, he had a very important job, which was denying and delaying any kind of silly, more utility throws up on the high ground of that. But Nitro is actually exerting some pressure here. The boost is gone because of all of this pressure that was going down. Yes, he didn't go out and get the steal, but did enough to be able to dissuade them from going for that full res overall. And Phil first does knock Silas, though, so now Starry Skies has got problems of their own. As on their eastern side, that's where S8UL is coming in from. But looks like Na'Vi wants this fight. Sees him instantly. He was at no cover. Oh, gosh. The bad stuff for Code Marco. He's down and out. Good clean up by Spirit. Here comes the reinforcements, though, for Bushido Wildcats. But I think they're coming into a position where it's not that easy to be able to take this fight. Metabay's down. And Hakatori once again here. Crossberg. Jeez Louise. Metabay couldn't get enough done with it.
It's one of those things where you're watching Hakatori play, and it's a sort of enlightening watching him play, because I think a lot of players would have backed off there. I think they would have backpedaled back towards the bunker, maybe taken a little bit more damage and then gone down. But for Hakatori, he just keeps pushing. And I think for him in that moment, it's the right play kind of pushes out of the sight line. It does force him into that engagement, but he knows the player's on the bike. Yeah. But you have to know that you're mechanically gifted enough to pull off a maneuver like that. And Hakatori absolutely is. I think it's a few players that can make that work, which is why he's such a boon to Na'Vi.
Yeah, the spatial awareness is when he pushes and knows that the cover on his left-hand side is like, okay, yeah, it's 20 meters away from him or whatever, but it still negates the line of sight. It's just fantastic. Nixie shuts down Metabay. That is Bushido Wildcats out in 16th place as Metabay was trying to scramble for a little bit of a position wherever he could. And then, of course, you get hunted down by Virtus Pro, who apparently can see everything in every game at all times.
That was a crazy wiggle as well, coming through from Metabay. I think he leant into every single shot from Nixie. It's tough. So awkward. I mean, if it was like a slightly off kilter, it would be fine, but it feels like Nixie definitely has his beats on point right now. For S8UL, though, this is a nice circle for them once again over on Erangel. I think their Erangels on day one, very, very difficult. I mean, we went into our double Miramar, and they had one Erangel that went their way. But here, maybe they can get a bit more done. They're currently playing over on prison side. They do have players over towards Lumberyard as well, just gathering information, using those sound cues to their advantage. But they do sort of need a southern shift on this one to have a much stronger position. Not to say that they can't play this one out. I mean, there's a lot of areas where they can pass by Lipovka, kind of isolate that information game from other teams by using the sight lines. But I do think that for S8UL, this is another good chance for them. This is what they were hoping for.
I have my concerns in the middle of the circle right now. Arton is in a red zone, so be careful, my friend. As he's he's in a building. He's all right. Don't worry, guys. Don't worry. But they're actually playing in from Lipovka, right? So it's really not that bad a place to be able to play in from. Here's our red zone in Mansion as Mythov scattered across Mansion. They're scattered across Heaven. So loads of land that they're trying to soak up here in the middle of this circle. And nobody really wants to drive through at the moment into any kind of move like this, because of course the red zone's still popping, still going, but now it's gone. So why did the red zone go all the way down to Milter Power? There's no one down there, so everyone's happy. Good times.
I should destroy this random area. By the way, I actually am not a huge fan of playing Mansion Heaven. Unless you are really confident, I feel like the Heaven position gets dismantled more often than not. But we'll see what they can get
Big
done
moves.
with this. But yeah, already a lot of teams flying in. Twisted Minds is right in between TMO, currently getting pincered, and yeah, the Mythod are immediately moving back over towards Mansion. I like that from them.
It makes a lot of sense on a circle like this here, but there's going to be lots of teams crashing on in. I think Everlong is actually going to hit maybe even the right-hand side of it. I'm not sure where they're going, but the thing is that ever since we had that forest added, it has... What is going on? Hello? Car park garage, you can't park there, mate. That was on top of another car.
Oh, I mean, for Levante, I feel bad for him. Like, how do you predict that? He rams himself on top of the coupe, instantly creating a new angle, a new avenue of approach. Team Vitality are able to hold on, though, despite all that. But yeah, that was a bit of an awkward one.
You phrased it correctly. I've never seen that angle.
Yeah, that's a new angle. Like, he's on the double-decker.
It reminds me of Gary's mod. You would like weld cars together and add boosters to them and just fly around. And whoa, whoa. Anyway, Everlong found themselves Heaven, which is quite nice. So the No Slacks are kind of perched up on there as well, but they do have Sata and Kovalevi away from that, so maybe they would actually want to get together or just get away completely. It really depends. Here at Mansion, Twisted Minds has moved in on the north side. Justus does know that one of the Twisted Minds players had moved in there, so he's trying to keep eyes on them. But again, what I was trying to say, again, it was a long time ago that this forest was added, of course, but it now allows so many teams to exist in this area compared to what was going on before with this area, which was just so barren, which, again, is like 5 years ago. But, you know, still a good reason. There's not much room. There's lots of room as well for Nixie to be able to take down the rest of Hive. Look at Rook's also doing a great job against this. Any kill point that goes Virtus Pro's way is a detriment to the entirety of this lobby right now, because nobody's catching up if they're starting off with another 3 kills and just not letting go of it.
Yeah, I think if VP gets themselves 20 points on this game, it's pretty much
over.
It's over, right? It's done and dusted, and they're already 3 points of the way there. Avenger brings a good point from behind the scenes, talking about Team Nemesis right now, how much space they currently have on the northeast side. And again, I think this is kind of their signature, right? Where they're very happy to play out on the edge, but these guys must do so much studying on the back end. Like, the work ethic must be crazy on their side. The amount of time they spend thinking of every single possibility, every single circle, and how they're going to play off the back of it. Because they're a fantastic edge team, and I think that's kind of what they're going for going forward. Yeah. But yeah, you can see here having that little ridge over towards the eastern side. If the circle comes that way, that's a fantastic place to end your game as well. And then also making sure to cover out the coast and then playing these small buildings over on the northwest side. I love this from Team Nemesis. I'm a really big fan of this team.
Yeah, I don't mind this at all. I mean, the thing is though, I'll play devil's advocate for a second. It was kind of a northern shift on teams that were centering up, right? And they were one of the only teams coming in from the north after we'd witnessed as the Mythod had left Yasnaya, right? So technically, they should have had some decent space. The only problem is it's kind of a coastal location. And now we just shift away from them. The Society is kind of close, so you can use that as a bit of an anchor point to try and kind of wiggle on in. But this hill, as well as Lipovka, now become a big focal point. Arguably the hills more than anything, where this is kind of holding up in that compound on the hillside is a very, very, I guess, prio spot. And so Sid's already heading on forwards here to see what is going to be going on. He's already being shot at by that compound. So now they already know that one great location to play is taken.
I'm really curious to see how VP plays this one out, because they're down towards the southwest side. They've just broached into the blue now. But the southern side of the map is so awkward to traverse through around the edge of prison. But I think they realize that there's going to be a team holding there. And there is Starry Skies. They're wrapping far down towards the south to go on past. And Starry Skies, I think they have an inkling that they're there, but they can't take shots. This is a cool rotation coming through from Virtus Pro.
And Navi's going to get in another fight once again here against Everlong. As Fairest is now down, so he's going to have to lead from the Just Comms alone. Molly forwards as well here. Navi trying to do their very best. First story's down to Spiro. And the Doozy from S8UL is also having a bit of an impact on this fight with the MK12 from a distance. Another nade does a bit of damage here to Saint. They know exactly where he is, though. They really want to dislodge him. Are they going to throw this straight through into his room? No, it stays in that corridor there for a second. But again, you got to be scared here as Saint, the one remaining player here to try and deal with Na'Vi. It's not easy.
It's a cheeky building to be in. I mean, this is always a difficult one to assault when you come up to it with the amount of little cubbies and small rooms you can head into. Yeah, it's hard to nade out if a player is good, and especially if there's only one nade coming in at a time. That's where Saint can kind of play around this, dart around this location. It's very unlikely he lives out too much longer, but what he is doing is delaying a lot. I mean, Na'Vi's not getting information on the outside. At any moment, someone else could crash in here. And with Na'Vi now down to 2 players, like, this is a location that teams would like to play, which should get taken over very quickly. Ascend is moving in over towards S8UL. S8UL start to leave on this one. Defense will find Hello My Bad off the distance as they start to just send it over towards Team Nemesis positions. A full-on engagement happening on the northern side of the map, and right now Team Vitality is taking names.
Yeah, it's bad for Nemesis though, as Melman will actually take down Mogor, but at the same time here, Levante took down Stade, and Diffex is completely gone as well. So for Nemesis, a bit scrappy here now on this north side, with all these teams trying to rotate in around them. I think the fact that Sosed was so far away from them to try and make something happen in terms of like a full 4-man hold against some of these teams wrapping on around, unfortunately, has kind of come back to bite them. But I get why you would want to try and have an anchor point here to make something work. Salek down on the south side. They're not Virtus.pro's moving in above them. And Curexy is down, but he did actually throw a nade, taking out Sloy Jacket as well as finishing off Zubila. So you never get anything for free against Virtus.pro. They're always going to take something from you.
Yeah, it's a frustrating one for Starry Skies because they got straight past them and are in a fairly decent position to play around. Salek tries to find some shots over towards Nixie, but he just cruises on past. But VP are now down to just 1 player. I think he's just going to try and send it here, yeah. But this is good news for the lobby. If Nixie goes down soon, it opens up an avenue of approach. Albeit Twisted Minds is only on 3 players. Team Nemesis on 2 as Team Vitality sent far out towards that northern side. Just caught them off guards, I think, is what happened.
Yeah, and Nixie wedges himself between a rock and a hard place, the hard place being his car. And he'll sit down there for a little while. So I think he could, in theory, survive there for quite a bit. There's now another molly for Saint. This is still stagnant in terms of a fight. But I understand why, right? It's a very important location right now. He's got an Uzi. Okay. Oh, too much damage. He's gone. The Uzi! Ah! Okay. It's like me, like a small chihuahua kind of clawing at you. Little Uzi is cute.
I do like that they brought the shotgun and the Uzi to the twisty, windy corridor house. That's kind of the best thing you could do there. Twisted Minds now, Lou, with a stun grenade, sends that one out. He had such a massive impact yesterday. Teammate is bleeding out. Batulins will go down. So Twisted Minds now down to 2 players. Look to finish off Boars, who they poked the nest of early. An example now has to just dart away. And Twisted Minds down to 1 player, only 1 kill on the game. It's not a great start for them. But this does open things up for a lot of our teams towards the middle of the pack here to try and catch up. This is the first time in a long time where I would say all 3 of the top teams are vulnerable on a game like this.
Oh my God. Yeah, for sure. And now Na'Vi has leapfrogged No Slack. That's crazy stuff for them to start the day off. 10 kills go their way. I think No Slack tried to crash into the compound that was, again, very strong in the middle. And they were, instantly greeted and instantly deleted.
God, I need to see a replay on that. Like, that is insane.
Well, you can see where the car pulled up.
Yeah, you can. But I mean, they had Uzis and shotguns and AUG, so there's got to be 2 of the most unreal spray downs of all time. I don't know how in the hell they pulled that off, but for Na'Vi, what a game so far. 2 players, full squad wipe over towards No Slack. What a frustrating result for No Slack as well. Example though, over towards Boars, doesn't find it, and Hala Senpai will be able to finish off the job. He did take 1 name at least, and He-Man from the Myth-Of is happy to pick up the points.
Style fashionista himself being able to move through here for the Myth-Of. I guess that's why the Spartan helmet has that kind of rainbow flourish on top. He's such a fashionista. But yeah, for the Myth-Of here, not too bad just yet. 2 kills on the board. They're surviving into the late game. They're going to actually have a lot of room into this game a little later on after holding down Mansion as well as they have done so far. I'm just concerned about the rest of the lobby in terms of, okay, so Virtus.pro's gone. My concern lies with, is this just now Wrecking Ball Na'Vi? Are we back to PGS2, late in the day Na'Vi, where they get 10 kills, they're showing just insane play, and maybe they can make an insane run on things at the end of this tournament so far.
Yeah, well, I think for Na'Vi, it's just a wild one, right? Where as I think even yesterday when we were seeing them low on player count, it was still terrifying to play against them. And also, if you're looking at the map right now and you kind of saw what just happened on that building, I do wonder if you assume that's a 3-4-man team and not a 2-man. Like, they just wiped no slack. You know generally the location where they are. I think that's now a hard thing to figure out. Ascend, though, they don't care. They're going to head straight in.
Yeah.
They have the Panzerfaust available.
I think some of the players will definitely have looked at the match log and figured out exactly what's going on over here, so it should be totally okay for them to be able to understand that they can make this breach at the same time, though it's still dangerous, right? Spiro's on 5, Hakatori's on 5. As you said, this duo is insane, and they've actually shut down with a nade and a shotgun, another greeting. Okay, Ascend's going to die,
Chris
and Na'Vi's going to be totally
off
fine.
The back of this blue zone, absolutely. Na'Vi is taking everyone out inside the lobby. It's the deadly duo. You just cannot step to these guys. 2 buildings, 2 players, 1 battleground, and it's all going their way.
The fact that they have got 13 kills, Hakatori has 8. He could actually get a 10-piece. He's done 1,037 damage already.
It's pubs for them.
No, get away here with your Panzerfaust. I don't want any of this. This man needs to go on more of a rampage, please. That'd be great.
I mean, getting the 10K in a match like this with
my
players like this is unheard of. Vitality taking a lot of damage on this side. Go on, Co.
I think eventually Na'Vi's death will come at S8UL. I think eventually maybe they might actually want to move down there. We'll see. Well, yeah, Sen's gone, and now S8UL might be eyeing that up. Or they might just stay on the south side and kind of continue to wrap and actually dismantle some of the teams on this side, because S8UL is very good about edge play, especially when they are 4 alive in these kind of exact scenarios. That is their playbook. That's what's won them championships in the past.
Good stuff from Team Nemesis, though, still hanging on despite everything. Now moving it over towards PGG. There are shots, but getting them towards the tree here is a big deal. Sadly, on the backline, Melman will go down, leaving us with just 1 player on Team Nemesis. But they do breach into triple digits. The only other team alongside VP to make this happen. F79 to get that smoke down. P90 out, but I do think it may be over here for SoSed.
Yeah, it's looking difficult here going against PGG. S8UL backed off, and now they're actually going to crash the compound. All right, Na'Vi, you've got a real challenge on your hands now here. S8UL is going to be mad. They're going to be angry. They're going to have known that multiple teams have crashed into this position and met their end. S8UL is not going to give you this as well unless magic happens. Magic strikes once again.
I think the difficulty for Na'Vi is that there's just been no chance to head outside and pick up a lot of the utility.
7 shots.
There has been dropped, but
no way.
heading in. Hakatori finds one right off the rip. We'll look for another. Dips on back. 2 stun grenades available, 1 smoke. That's about it. And it is absolute carnage inside the building. You're right, a doozy will pick up Ares. So not another kill here coming through for him.
Okay, he got an explosion. I think Hakatori. He's done 1,300 damage. This is absolute insanity. He's got 9 kills at the moment. He dropped his nade. Oh god, when he got knocked. Here comes S8UL coming around the corner. Shotgun in hand. Not going to be working out. Phil first takes down Spiro. Good stuff to be able to clean him up. They've still got to deal with Hacker Bloody Tory though in the other building. The one thing that's causing everyone's advantage is now there's 2 teams here to try and deal with this beast in the other building.
I mean, he sits between both of them.
Betwixt
the 2 teams, and it's not likely to give this one up anytime soon. Yeah, I think the big issue is that all these cars dropping on this outside edge, there's been no chance. I think for Na'Vi, it might have been a slightly easier hold if they'd been able to pilfer some of those loot crates, but it just was not possible.
We need the 10
piece. The time they had. But yeah, we do need the 10 piece. He is 1 away from it. Great mortars from Viz, though, coming in from Stratos, literally from the stratosphere. Sloy Jacket dodging out of the way.
This is a very important game for Vis because they've had this compound and they dropped Lipovka, and they've had this compound for as long as the game has been going on. So they had to convert on a game like this, did Vis. And so far, they are doing it. Held it down strong, held it down confidently. And even Mortar's raining down on PGG, as you just witnessed. And even Pains has got a decent angle on Salik. So shutting down anything that's coming in from that southeast side, they know that all of their attention can just be on the southwest. But I still need that 10 piece.
It would be cool. It would be cool to see. PGG now down to one player. Selic will be left out. Mika afraid of
Nobody
what
wants to go in.
lurks inside the building. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't either. We heard T-Bone yesterday. It is terrifying going up against this guy. Arguably the best player in the world. Odds on the inside, has the stun grenade in hand, prepped and ready for someone coming out. Right now, the S8UL is sending some pretty nice airbursts over towards TMO.
Yeah, there are great candidates for best player in the world, but easily Hakatori is in that conversation at present, right? Like, it comes and goes, it changes with the flow of the game, flow of the meta, flow of kind of the scenes and things like that. But Hakatori is a phenom. And right now he's still alive. He's up against the blue. The thing is that all these teams, they know that he is the first one that's going to have to move when the blue actually pushes. So just wait it out. Don't go into the layer.
Yeah, the only way to defeat Hakatori is to let the blue do the job. They have some nice angles over towards him right now. Viz is taking bullets from S8UL. It's just nice that S8UL continues to have presence towards the center side of the circle whilst holding out the beast in the cage currently on the edge of the blue. You're right, he does have to move first. I think the only feasible way that Hakatori gets out of this one is if he just sends it over towards Mika, but he would need smokes to make that one happen.
He just went 2 damage, but he did take some damage himself here, Hakatori, in the distance. So now he's going to heal on up and try and go for it, but he knows that the angle is just going to be held here by Mika, I think. No way! Excuse me? Wait, no, he's going for a full squad wipe. He's insane. Okay, well, he's gone now. But actually, if Mika doesn't get res, that would be the 10 piece. Or if it gets stolen, of course, that wouldn't be the 10 piece. But jeez Louise, I can't believe he beat him on that. It got stolen away.
Yeah,
29 for the Hakatori. Never mind.
Yeah.
It's still amazing.
And the hacker story comes to an end as we close the chapter on that book. He-Man from the Mythov hiding inside the smoke, getting a 3rd place though. I think it's not terrible for the Mythov. Not a bad start for them from the position they're in. Sending nades down the hill over towards S8UL. It's not a bad nade. A lot of damage that comes through, like you say, but playing uphill towards Viz here, it is a really tough approach right now for S8UL, and they desperately need those off angles. Vestalosh is waiting for He-Man to come out the way. All they can do is start dropping these emergency cover flares. Vestalosh looking for that one, but great shots from the sidelines. I think that's coming through from PGG.
It's going to be like shooting fish in a barrel for this, or shooting soul in a barrel. There's a fish called a soul, right? But let's see if they can actually do anything against this. Stratos here, check and take a decent off angle as well against it. They're just corralling them into, unfortunately, just a very small area here. Maybe Sloy can try and sneak a 2nd place. I don't think it's going to be the case, though. I don't think he's aware that on his right-hand side, he's about to die. Oh, no. Barton actually saved. Sloy saved by S8UL.
PGG Sloy will take it down. But yeah, there is a kill coming through, actually, from S8UL. I don't think he can get a doozy back up now. But either way, 1 kill opens up something at least. But maybe they're able to get that res off. He is right on the edge of the blue, and I think that they don't really want to leave those sight lines open. But they are going for it.
It's really a big game for Vis here, because now they're hanging with the big dogs. Look how much this is going to propel them up the leaderboards. And they've been able to hold down this compound. Again, you know, this is what happens sometimes in PUBG. Circles come to you, but you got to make the best of it when it does. And Vis has, at present, here with this compound. But S8UL, not out of it just yet. They're very cautious. The only problem is they know they can't get a doozy. Anytime Vis wants to just flex out for these extra angles, yeah, it should be the nail in the coffin for S8UL.
Stratus is, I want to do it again. I'm going to have a little look over. That is an awkward explosion on the vehicle as well. That's kind of what was keeping them safe for such a long time. And now that it's gone, Stratus can maybe pop his head over the top here, take some shots. They are looking over towards him. Arton finds Molodog with the help of Stratos, and it will be the finish. Viz sends themselves up the leaderboard, but Na'Vi is the main story this game.
4 more games here to decide who gets 250 points and who gets way less. It actually is quite the drop-off once we get to second, 150 and 105. So even on 4th, just 80 points for that 4th place, getting less than a third than 1st place is really going to stack up for those PGC points.
It will for sure, and it is very important, as we've already seen some of those points get allocated throughout the previous days of those playoffs. And the fact that there is the potential for there to be 1, 2, 3 points differences if we get down to tiebreakers because of the way that was distributed, that could be very exciting towards the end of the year. And let's take a look at the drops. Not too much crazy going on here, Mr. Martin. It's pretty chill.
Yeah, it's pretty evened out. Also, with such a great plane pass to start things off with, it's mostly going to depend on where we're going to see the circle. Are we going to get a more Cantara? Or we're going to go on the western side here. A home turf circle for Montenegro. Or we're going to get another chicken dinner from Ascent, potentially. Or even some great games for No Slack to catch back up to that top 4. That could be cool to see.
Yep. Yeah, the No Slack really needs to start cranking the gears, though, right?
Yes.
Like, if you think about what they did in day 1 compared to day 2, and now obviously starting things off with nothing in the first game, that's not what we want from our No Slack. What we watched in that day number 1 was phenomenal. I was really enjoying watching that. And of course, it's difficult to keep up the consistency in a lobby like this. You're literally talking about the best teams in the world keeping up consistency, like the Virtus Pro boys, like Twisted Minds, and of course, Na'Vi just does Na'Vi things sometimes.
Yeah, there's no denying that. Maybe it comes down to them having just come off work or studying or whatever on Fridays, and then they're like, all right, no Slack, guys, straight to the grind. Meanwhile, everyone else is grinding throughout the Saturdays and Sundays. I don't know. Also listening to Mark and the guys yesterday with McClay and Scaff, they were also a little bit sad, obviously, with what happened. And their fantastic day 1 here, it's really difficult to replicate that. Now, though, with how they're looking and where they are currently in the map here, this could be a decent start for their comeback and how far they can take this. I already see Scaff haven't taken, I think it's close to the Twins compounds. It's a really great spot for information, and maybe they're going to be able to enable themselves to get deeper here. Let's see how deep and close they get to Ascent here. And obviously going for the so-called face compound where it always ended in our old circles. Now not so much anymore.
No, definitely not. Yeah, you stole the words right out of my mouth. I was going to talk about the fact that Scav's taken a proactive position. So that's already like a
great minds
decent
think alike, my friend.
We've known each other too long, I think.
We're way too synergized at this point.
It's been a good few years, mate.
Next year's a decade. I can't believe it. You're so old.
God, is it 10 years?
Next year, man. It's
oh
crazy.
my God. All right, well. Yep.
Time to retire, old man. Back to the retirement home, grandma.
I'm gonna be honest. Can you, if PUBG outlasts my StarCraft 2 career, then I will be very confused. That will be an insane milestone if that happens, right?
Yeah, it would be.
Jeez.
Such a crazy thing to think how different the game is already, right? It's when you look back at some of the early tournaments, 2017, 2018, where even $50,000 tournaments, everyone was traveling to a LAN like pre-COVID and everything. It was just crazy. And then
Frost
now
was a pro gamer.
Yeah,
crazy.
It's kind of crazy to think of, to be honest. Like if it's come so far, and the game is practically already PUBG 2.5 with how different it is and how much the game has progressed, but both in graphic and also how everything's kind of lining up with how minimalistic it was before.
The game's very different, that is for sure. That is 100% true. For some players, obviously, they think of the old days as those glory days or whatever, but hey, I still have a ton of fun jumping in with friends and playing this game. There's still nothing quite like getting some chicken dinners in PUBG. That feeling when you're able to go up against some very tough teams in adversity and be able to prevail. It's a very good feeling indeed. But Everlong, they're needing that feeling right now. Going up against Starry Skies, two teams that are kind of languishing down towards the bottom of the tables at the moment, scrapping for some of the positions just south of the center of this circle. Pretty decent positions. If you can kind of come out on top of this and the circle comes your way, it'd be a good start to the game for them.
Good. Let's hope they are able to do that. Now here on board with example, some call him the GOAT. A lot call him the GOAT.
Oh yeah.
But in my book, to be the GOAT, you need to win multiple PGCs. No, I'm joking. He's still chasing that one. And yeah, for Batulins, like we've asked multiple times, like yeah, one major championship is not enough. We need to win multiple. And I thought it was last year, man. I thought PGC last year was theirs, and then crazy things happen, and yeah, Belmouth becomes the MVP and wins a Porsche.
Yep. For Batulin's an example, they felt like their names were on that Porsche, but not to be the case here for Twisted Minds. Yeah, it's a tough one, right, for Twisted Minds, because you win a PGS, you win a PGS, you win a PGS, you win EWC, you win PGS, and you do those kinds of things. Oh yeah, you win 7 regionals. they non-stop win. It's just when PGC comes around. As you say, every time we ask him at EWC, he's like, no, I don't want one PGC. I want 2 PGCs to prove that I am truly the greatest of all time in terms of the IGL role. I mean, he already basically is, but, you know, he's very concerned about his legacy. It's interesting because, I mean, even if you look at Liquipedia stats alone, Batulin's has won, I think, $761,000, and that's just his share of his team's winnings, right? So, you know, dividing by 4. So the fact that his rosters have been able to accomplish such a thing in as much time is insanity.
Yeah, it is. Such a tenured roster, such a legendary lineup here. Now, Getrox, though, finds Micah. We're going to have to figure out where we're going in terms of the circle. As we're closing in 3 minutes, we're going to see the next pop here, as you see. The BRDM and Vitality. So far, Vitality in that big mid-pack, and it's just so close here. Obviously, Na'Vi catching up a little bit could be huge for them. Getrox gets a confirmation here on to Micah.
Bit of a freebie in the end.
Yeah.
Not too bad at all. As these teams will just continue to find themselves as central position as possible. Only 1 casualty in the first 8 minutes. Again, not too much surprise here for EMEA. Especially with how much land actually exists in a circle like this, right? There's so many places you can take. Hell, even like when you think about Na'Vi's coming in a little later from what is normally their graveyard, kind of Cantera splits and drops and things like that. Nemesis has got such a wide split on that southwest side as well, where you could easily have a circle come down there and suddenly they're absolutely laughing because they have like that hillside along that those trident roads, right? So there's still so many ways this could end up.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see with how central most of the teams are, what side we're going to end on. I really do love some of the kind of Monte and Nuevo proper endings where we end close to it. Not always urban. That's a difficult one, especially with the hill, the so-called 80 hill, where you have the oil refinery. It's really difficult to kind of traverse that and survive, especially with how everything lines up. But now Nemesis taking more space here. Melman's got a lot of info deeper inside this circle here, James, and he's going to be chilling so far and get some information close to the zip line here.
Okay.
And James.
No, you thought El Diablo was coming. You thought
I was ready for it.
That was almost a smart call. I appreciated that. That was good, but no, not yet. Not yet. It's so funny. You remember sometimes we get those very far west circles, and you sometimes get people going all the way up to like the hillside along the unplayable, and actually they can farm a lot of jump scared. But yeah, I mean, things like that could happen, right, for Nemesis. Like they're just shoring up anything that they can do. Melman's getting a lot of information from over there.
Yeah.
From some of the teams that are going to be ahead of him in some of those compounds, which are actually already taken.
Yeah, there's actually quite a lot contested already. So let's see with what the side we kind of go. But if we do go west, it's basically only Nemesis and Vis that's kind of set up in big greedy splits here, and there's quite a lot of space there. Also with the unplayable on the western side, you can really push hard away from that. We also had that great game in our playoffs where Waptruck actually had that kind of high ground above El Pozo and succeeded quite a lot from there. So that's another location that's quite playable without being locked down early on. Presenti on PGD on the southern side here. Even though they're quite the distance away here, they might have a chance to get in. But let's see with, oh my God, Southwest James. It is. It's actually the Nemesis circle. And because they take so much space on one side and then all of a sudden it comes to them, they now have the pick of the litter.
Yep. And they are just going to be heading into the compounds that are on that hillside that they had prior. And this is also, as we were looking at PGG, a very important circle for them, right? They get that south shift. They know that they're very likely to be able to make landfall on that circle with not too much resistance. Not only the fact that they have a glider to be able to scout, but they have the BRDM as well, which will show up some defenses. But everybody else is going to be making a bit of a mad dash right now. Ascend is going towards what looks like might be Brickyard, or they might go a little bit further along the roadside onto some of the compounds that actually exist down there. We'll see. The problem is that I think there's some teams that want to crash onto the Nemesis Hill, but it is currently occupied, but they're very heavily split our Nemesis, so they've got to be careful about if anybody comes up their way.
That's the time to call a bluff here. That's the time to, especially with these kind of high chests, that's the time to really strike and get in and get involved here. So let's see if that's going to be the case here. I like the Starish guy's location here, but I feel like it's always extremely difficult to hold as not a full four-man because so many teams can kind of encroach around it. So let's see how much they get out of it. With VP having the low ground compound on the longhouse here, they need to make sure their cars are safe. It's
I like
to hold on to.
I like your poker terminology of calling a bluff because that kind of only happens in like these pro games, right?
Yes.
Like for the most part, sometimes you get it in ranked where people are taking kind of splits, but the comms aren't that clean, you know, the games aren't that clean. But here, games generally are clean. And generally what will occur in early moments like this in a game is that people will be going for these big splits. So you can potentially call some of those bluffs. As Hakatori just apparently doesn't let up. And all the kills in all the lobbies are Hakatori's apparently.
Yeah, does not want to share at all. That's just his. And yeah, we're going to see more of that. Nixie finds Vaso, though. A little bit difficult for Starish guys, especially with that high ground spot there I'm talking about. More shots continue here. And yeah, what a gamer. And you know what? Every time I'm playing ranked and I'm looking, checking my ranks, just like that #1 survivor is just staring at me. It's Hakatori. Usually it's some of the other guys, but yeah, it's Hakatori just staring at me. It's just so good. Such a high kill average here. But now Nixie and the boys, they are involved with this one here. And they get Starish guys evicted from this high ground spot. That's really the question.
I remember when we turned up at PGCM, the game record of Hakatori was something like 800 games played after the season start or whatever, and I was just like, what is going on?
Yeah.
But yeah, as Nixie and the boys here from Virtus Pro want to get rid of Starry Skies, continue to hold on to their extreme lead that they currently have. M249 in hand for Kurexi. Tries to charge up the molly. Sees his little head peeking over that window, so he'll be able to have to throw it through double windows. Although I think he now is in the building. No, he's on the other side, so he's run away.
Oh, Silas finds Beamy. That's an opening. And Silas finds Nixie as well. The gamer himself is in here. Now with he did not expect Kurexi to be this close here. Mommy comes in, gets Kurexi down as well. He's 1 HP. Oh my god, Luckerox gets him, and that Starish guy's out with 3 knocked here. Surely someone's going to be sending it in. And already here, the fashionista himself, Himanen, comes in and starts throwing nades up there to get some of those flushes, to steal some of that away and deny VP off this game.
Yeah, I love what they're doing here. They really knew exactly
call.
that they want to hit this hard as fast as possible. That said, though, they're not being too aggressive on it. In the kill feed, you would have been able to see as many knocks as you did, so, like, just get in there. There we go. Finally, some of the connections with this utility. Good stuff here from the Mythov. Can they finish it on up and really put a thorn in the side of Virtus Pro, who would love to... I mean, they've already shored up their defenses at the top of this board at the moment, but Mythov is looking to disrupt things.
Yeah, let's see what they're going to be able to lock out on with the big man Luckerox. And for me, though, again, fighting for an edge position here, it's just about survival, but Virtus Pro has already gotten 3 points, and if they keep this average up, it's going to be difficult for anyone to catch them still. Well, that's really the big one. Okay, Luckerox with a answer as well. That's probably going to be an easy knock for someone.
So many people on the south side of Monte Nuevo. I mean, it is the compounds all in those warehouses as well, but nades forwards from going to be multiple teams as well. Everlong trying to do some damage. As I say, the circle has favored Nemesis once again. This is their game to try and make a big catch-up here to Virtus Pro, if anything's to be said and done about it. As it's Chris, does get himself a few shots through that smoke, not too much going on just yet. One nade contains with Fantasia in the distance. Going to be sweeping him up. In just a moment's time. Oh, but sweeping up T-Bone. Sweeping him aside. This is brutal stuff here. Just constant nades back and forth.
Yeah, it's difficult. Everyone's going to be fighting for this high ground, fighting for this hill here, and compounds and hard cover around it. T-Bone here with the blue zone backpack might actually save him. Let's see if it dies down. There's a nade coming into. That's a great nade. It's going to hit a lot of damage. Kenna finds Fantasia and Renax. That's crazy. Yeah, Saint finds Killikai, though.
I think Everlong has to get in there pretty soon, because once those smokes actually dissipate, Twisted Minds does actually see them. Keta with another one. Saint does finish them off, but Keta!
1v4!
Oh my god, he takes them all!
Everlong completely vibed here with Keta. great nade opening and then just wipes the floor with the rest of it. What a game for Ascent to start things off with here.
Oh, they're done. Oh, it's
Gonna be rough, though.
Okay, Batulans did hit some shots against it. Chris knows exactly where they're going to be moving on in. Example's moving to a position for assault, looking to try and find a position on this longhouse, and then maybe seeing what he can actually do from there. Flashes on forwards. Chris is healed up. He's got an M249 in hand, the big boy gun. Well, I mean, that's the arm, but it's still a very big gun. And Panzerfaust in hand as well here. Perfectix, he's just going crazy with it. Okay.
That's arguably a big boy gun as well.
Yeah. Kaboom.
Perfectix here, trying to get this locked out. Trying to get this finished up quickly so they can continue this fight here. Circle ships coming to their compound too here. Perfectix finds Keter with the Panzer and the Flush easily with the Orc as well. Oh my god, it's 1 HP. Can he survive this? Trying to hide in the corner here. Shots around coming in for him.
Okay.
It's Chris finds Perfectix and now, easy kill here for Example to finish things off. And now an easy res on Perfectix. But at this time, like, if I'm looking at it and I have an easy breach or kind of pull up on this, when I know that Perfectix already knocked there, that's my timing for a breach potentially. There's quite a lot of buildings to be opening up to. Beamy finds him in for the flush and confirm as well. Oh my god, look, Rooks and Beamy got justice too.
Wait, how have they survived all of this? They took casualties early on to the Mythov, and Mythov didn't get aggressive on it, and now they've had to leave, and Virtus.pro has been able to clean them up. That is ridiculous. I will say, the circle has gone down into the valley majoritively, right? Which actually causes a whole lot of problems for these teams on this west side hill. To try and actually eventually get down, win the fights that they're going to have to take as well. Aspiro and Na'Vi trying to hold out PGG. Nemesis eventually might actually look on over here to see what's going on. But PGG taking more casualties against this. Good for that lobby. Hakatori's down. That will help.
Yeah. It's going to be a little bit hurt, Na'Vi here, but still 2 kills and a little bit of a campaign for them. Can find more kills too. PGG actually doing it kind of good on them, but Fustic swings around, gets the confirmation on this will be a really good push in the smokes, as you point out. Let's see if they can get this cleaned up and stay 3 alive. It's Presenti.
Spiro down, Presenti. You got to do a little bit more here to be able to save the boys at the moment here from PGG coming around the corner on the hillside. You can see him. Well, actually, wait, the car was moving there for a second. Gotta be careful about all this. Fustic actually does take down Presenti in the end.
Oh, that's a great headshot with him. 249. Almost popped them, but he's down low, and now, yeah, he's in the distance inside that blue zone. Only phase 4, so we're only talking 3 damage per second this time. Nice favors there, gets Sloy Jacket, but still, they got hurt a little bit, and now they're on the chase for this next zone, James.
Twisted Minds breaks the 100-point mark, as we do have Hicks trying to go for a bit of a Panzerfaust, thinking that might be somebody next to that car. Not to be the case, though, here. Nemesis down to only 2. No kills on the board for them so far. This game should have been their opportunity to try and catch up with Virtus.pro, but it's kind of fallen by the wayside, and Virtus.pro's only extended the lead. Nemesis is down. This means Twisted Minds might actually jump them in this game.
Also found another Infinity Stone, and they look like unstoppable to find Nemesis. Gedrox gets Lookarooks, and Beamy's down to just nothing here, trying to survive for as long as possible. Inside the zone, could maybe survive long enough for a placement point, and
here comes Quizzy.
That's just really scary. Yeah, can Vitality clean him up? Can he get another kill here? Nice push out to get Quizzy confirmed as well. Another point to come the way of VP once that dies out. Habibi finds it though. What a sneaky theft there for 1 point.
Oi! Hello. That was a jump scare if I've ever seen one through the door. But yes, Vitality, not too bad on that cleanup. Gedrox and Hello My Bad on opposite sides of this road at the moment. Twisted Minds. Okay, my attention completely changes from Nemesis to them, because when it came down into this valley between the 2 hills, Twisted Minds has the spot. So this could be huge for Twisted Minds. Will our 7-time regional champions be able to just strike back at what was an insane lead from Virtus.pro? And again, they got 5 kills in this game somehow to Virtus.pro. And I think they shouldn't have in the end. I think maybe they should have been cleaned up overall. But yeah, it's a good salvage game, even for the number 1 boys.
Yeah. 1 more point could have been had if it wasn't for Habibi stealing it. He even had like a few bullets to go for the flush here. I think he was going to get it from the bleed out eventually, but yeah, it got stolen quite quickly with that last kind of damage coming in here. Now Bushuti Wildcats under a lot of pressure from Hive. That's a great nade. It's going to find Crossberg. Morse coming out here. The Turkish roster under so much pressure.
It never ends. How many blue zones is that?
What's going on?
That's so many. It's such a shame for them that they're not on target and Celtic and Medibay had moved over on this right-hand side.
Yeah.
They would have just been evaporated. They would have been deleted. The body doesn't fall over, it just phases out.
Oh my god. Stratos finds Scav though here, no slack, under some pressure. They actually have a high ground spot that's a potential top 5 with some kills for no slack, so they could be looking good here, but let's see if they recover. Medibay, Celtic, and the guys from Bushido Wildcats is roughed out here in 10th place. Now Hive back to a 3-man and 3 kills. They have got some space ahead of them, but they're gonna fight either Viz or no slack at this point. Boar's also inside, it's gonna have to fight no slack.
Yeah, very important fight back for no slack. Obviously, as we were watching them on what is effectively El Pozo and kind of like seeing what they can flex out, seeing if they can start getting something going for this game. No kills gone the way just yet. I want to see some spice from no slack here, as they do see Viz in the distance trying to make the move on forwards against this, but there's so many teams around them. It's going to be carnage up here, Avenger. It's going to be carnage.
It is. I think this is going to be one of the wildest games on the top side of this ridge here. Once we're getting off it, we're going to have only Twisted Minds and SAUL and some of the other guys here, but Viz does find Dante, and now Boars, Viz, and No Slack is going to be this awkward 4-way fight here, James. It's going to be kind of rough for whoever is managing to survive, but IXE opens it up, and No Slack looks like they have the upper hand.
Are they back? Because this looks like a bit one no slack here. Scar finishing things off against Hive as well. Sees Habibi in the distance. Okay, they're shooting at everything, and they've actually played this out brilliantly with the 4 kills going their way. He's just going to clean it all up. All right, this is lovely points for the boys.
Yeah, this is the comeback game that they needed. This day was a rough one, and the first game of the day was actually even rougher here. That's actually pretty good and accurate. Look at that, how close it is from that distance. Actually beautiful. Doesn't connect just yet here. Viz, Scav finds R2, and IXE gets Marshall here, and look at that. Most like has the benefit of this.
I feel like in the 4-way fight, no slack is like getting every one of the kills.
Yeah.
They're just not really sharing anything with this. I thought it was going to be carnage, but yes, it was, but it was only no slack dishing out that carnage at the moment, as Viz and Boz technically still alive underneath these rocks. It's a bit harder to dislodge people when they're dancing around these rocks, but that's a great molly. Damn, IXE. His head's on fire. These opponents are on fire. It's all popping off.
I get it. All right. Oh my God, what a circle. That means that I said you all obviously have an advantage here, but it looks like we're gonna be ending outside and kind of close to the road, just below them by the looks of things. Navi has made themselves into a great spot here. No Slack is gonna have an extremely difficult push here unless they make some crazy send on to Navi's location here. But damn. Look at that. The high ground to come off from SAUL, or even for Twisted Minds to get out of this house later. Yeah. There's just no cover to be played here unless you're playing kind of uphill for Twisted Minds safely.
Ooh. Yeah, big fan of these flyovers to get a complete lay of the land, so thank you for that, as the no slack's going to be making a bit of a mad dash, and understandably so, right? When you see what they're actually going to work with, Ferris does a huge damage with that M24, nice has to get Boost to get Anson out, but Boostic will finish it off. And that is now for Boostic and Ferris to be able to join up. So it's now their turn to play the duo. It was Spiro and Yakatori in the previous one. And now Ferris. Yeah, it's like, we'll show you, boys. All
right, SAUL, this is your game. This is your chance to
you think?
Try to log in to this top 5 here with no slack being out. And look at how close all of the teams in the from 77 to 73 here. Just so many teams fighting for that 5th place currently. Navi looking so strong once again here. They continue to absolutely dink. Phil Ferris just sees a guy that's just casually standing there looking on like, oh, it looks like I'm about to have visitors. Oh, never mind, I'm getting shot.
Get off my lawn. That was tough there for him. Boars in the distance. Also tough for them. There's not much cover to work with. Boars is gone. Now, 5 teams remain. I didn't even realize that Viz and Vitality actually had one still alive each.
Yeah.
Yes, Halamabad slowly sneaking in behind Twisted Minds, but Stratos, how much more mods do we have? Okay, he's going med hunting.
Trying to, at least. This next one's going to hurt. He's dead.
Yeah. Too much time med hunting.
Too much time med hunting and too far away from the zone. Now, hello, my bad. With 11. Could kind of make this work for a little bit, but still top 4 for them with 3 kills is a decent game to hold on to this kind of mid-pack fight where the big game for them in the next one, they could still jump into 5th here. So big games to be had. I said UL, this is their chance to separate themselves, James, though. This is their chance to hunt down Na'Vi and get closer. But we'll see how they take on Twisted Minds. That they're eventually going to fight, considering we have a solo and a duo left on the other side of things.
Here's the thing. If you want Virtus.pro to be challenged at the top, Twisted Minds has got to win this game, right? If they're able to do that, suddenly things get a whole lot more spicy for the day. And good mortars here to try and do some damage towards the Na'Vi position, but they are still in that house. And just a little further away, but not enough here for Boostic. He takes some big damage here despite being in. It's the perfect shot because that shot has to land what is effectively adjacent to the door to be able to make something work for them. And that's going to be the signal. They're moving on it.
What?
Huge.
That's huge. What a great pull-up here. Nades are coming out. Defensive nades too. That's a great push here. Example finds Boostic immediately, and now Ferris with that was so close to get 2 of them, but he got stunned, and now he's going to have to try to push out, and it's Mini, the wrong gun to be things going down here. Ferris finds Petulins for the knock here, and this is UL's chance to make a push for it and get space ahead of them. Example's got the defensive anchor here on this rock, but they've got too many angles, it feels like.
Yeah, some very damage from Twisted Minds. They knew that they had to do something a bit more desperate. Try and get across there. Example takes down Phil first. So 2v2 at the moment here. And the problem for Phil first was that was a very wide angle he was taking. So Molodoc's going to have to do some magic if he wants to ever get on over there. And he's being shot at by Example. The cross that he would need to make to try and get to Phil first is vast. I don't think they have the smokes to be able to do it. I don't think they have the time to be able to do it because there's going to be some shots going that way. Surely.
Yeah, you would think so, right?
He's moving up for it.
Question here. This is going to be an easy push for him to get this confirmed here. He doesn't know the exact location, though, of him, James. And with Molodoc's anger from the other side here, can they make something happen? He's inside the zone, doesn't bleed as much. Molodoc, if he makes a push for this, it might work out, but I don't think he's going to be able to. He's going to get denied. Or maybe even they use Phil first as a bait. Never mind, he's dead.
He was trying for the cross himself. Any desperate move you can make there, right, when you know you're going to bleed out if you just stay up there anyway. It's worth a try. Worth a try for sure. As Example now is going to be still set his eyes and his sights up here against Molodoc. And it's going to be up to Lou to keep his eye on Bestaloch. So, I mean, Twisted Minds, yes, technically, they did lose out a man advantage situation against Virtus.pro before. Right. I don't know whether or not they lose this one. I think finally we might be getting that Twisted Minds victory.
I think there's a big shot at it. I think this is their game to get this one closed out, to get that first chicken dinner. And makes it interesting at the top. But still, as I said, you're only 15 points from Na'Vi currently, James. And if they're able to clutch this one here, that'll be huge. That'll be 7 more points to come their way and be really close within striking distance of that Na'Vi.
Such an important maneuver by Twisted Minds to go against the Na'Vi position as well. Like, if you're staying on your side of the road and you don't dislodge them, then it would have been so difficult to make this game work. But Twisted Minds understands exactly, at most times, what needs to be done. We watched it just then. But let's see if Bestaloch and Molodoc can do anything. It's going to need a little bit of magic. They are fantastic players. Of course, Molodoc was subbing in for Twisted Minds throughout the last 3 PGSs, so he's very aware of how this team plays. Whoa. And just like that, he takes down the IGL he subbed for. Good stuff here for Molodoc. 2v2, but Lou knows exactly where Bestaloch is. He's got to be very careful now, as Molodoc's getting a bit aggressive on this.
It's very much utility game at this point here. It doesn't look like Molodoc has too much of it. If he can get something, look how low Petulins is. That's I didn't. Imagine if that rolled on the correct side of that hill. That would have been perfect. That's a really open push for him. Lou finds Molodoc, and now it's down to just Bestaloch. Can he do something? I doubt it. This could be Twisted Minds' game to close out and get that final chicken dinner and try to hunt down VP. That's in such a deep lead currently.
And it's looking like it could be possible. Will Twisted Minds make magic happen in EMEA once again? Because right now, they're staring down a win. That will be big points to try and parlay themselves and kind of propel themselves towards what would be #1. Just another good game would be putting them in an amazing position to assault #1. It's Twisted Minds. Finally, after 12 games, a win goes the way of Twisted Minds, the EMEA Kings.